Chapter 4, Mud Bath. Jack looked over the edge of the riverbank. Annie had fallen into a pool of mud near the water. The thick black mud was up to her chest. I slipped, she said. It feels like quicksand. Jack threw down his pack and got on his knees. Be careful, said Annie. Don't slip too. Jack pointed to a tangle of old tree roots sticking out of the banks. Grab those, he said. Annie reached for the roots. Too far, she said, breathing hard. I'm sinking, Jack. She was sinking. The mud was now up to her neck. Hold on, Jack looked around wildly. He saw a fallen tree branch near the bank. He raced to it, picked it up, and carried it back to Annie. Only her head and arms stuck out of the mud now. Jack held out the branch, and Annie grabbed it. Hold tight, said Jack. I'll drag you over to the roots. He started pulling on the branch. I'm still sinking, Annie wailed. The mud was up to her chin now. Come on, said Jack. You can do it. I know you can. Try, try. Just then, Jack heard a splash. He looked up. On the other side of the wild river, a wildebeest had jumped into the water. Another jumped, and then another. They were headed right toward Jack and Annie. Hold on tight, said Jack. He pulled on the stick again. Annie moved a tiny bit. Hey, Jack, on the moon, it felt like I weighed 10 pounds, and in this mud, it feels like I weigh a ton, said Annie. Concentrate, Annie, said Jack, trying not to slip down the bank. I am. The lead wildebeests were halfway across, swimming toward them. Many more wildebeests were jumping into the water. It's now or never, said Jack. He took a deep breath and pulled really hard. Just then, a shadow passed over them, and Jack looked up. Uh-oh, he said. A huge vulture circled overhead. It thinks you're near the end, said Jack. Oh, you get out of here, Annie shouted at the vulture. I'm just fine. In a burst of fury, she let go of the branch and lunged towards the roots and grabbed them. Yes, cried Jack. Pull, pull. Slowly, Annie pulled herself out. She was covered with the black mud from head to toe. Jack helped her onto the bank, getting mud all over himself, too. See, Annie said. She shook her fist at the vulture. I'm fine. Now beat it. Scram. But the giant ugly bird still circled. Come on, let's get away from him, said Jack as he pushed his glasses into place. Rats, he said. Now his glasses were all muddy, too. He tried to clean them with his hands, but then it got even muddier. Oh, no, shouted Annie. Jack turned to her. The wildebeest will get stuck in the mud hole, she cried. She waved her arms at the wildebeest, struggling to swim across the river. No, not there, she shouted, not there. But the frantic swimmers just kept on coming. Chapter 5 is called Ha Ha! Talk to an adult and tell him what you predict will happen in Chapter 5.